extremely high, and it seems to only be getting higher. We're going to be taking a look at some headlines, taking a look at the charts, and really trying to understand, what we can expect for the rest of this week going into the weekend from Bitcoin and from other assets. We've seen a lot of movement to the upside, not just for Bitcoin and Ethereum, the major altcoins, but also today we're seeing upside for Chainlink. So Chainlink has been a little bit of a snooze fest recently, as you can see, since about the 12th of March. You've just been sideways. Well, we finally got a bit higher here for Chainlink, up about 6%. Scrolling on over to Bitcoin, you can see that it's been up and to the right for a long time. Had a huge takeoff back here, February 26th, and it's since then it's been doing really, really well, pushing through all these different historic lines of resistance like their butter, and that has resulted in, as to today's price, is a 42% move higher. If I throw in the Bollinger Bands, you can see on the 4-hour that we've been able to stay up above the midline of the Bollinger Band, and we are retaining that even as I speak. And what we would have expected is another wick lower here, another wick down, because we got it here back on March 10th and then March 12th. Well, we haven't gotten that wick yet. We could see a wick down today or tomorrow, and that would be, in my opinion, a pretty decent buying opportunity. And speaking of buying opportunities for Bitcoin, let's go ahead and jump on into the news here, because there's a lot of folks who are thinking that buying Bitcoin is the way to do it right now. And look, do I disagree? No. But there is an old maxim, right, that you buy low, you sell high. Right now, you can really only buy Bitcoin high, right? Now, it could go higher. You could be buying high to sell higher, or buying high to just hold forever, right? This will be your real estate equivalent, your nest egg, that you're going to be just holding on to Bitcoin as it appreciates into infinity. I say that somewhat jokingly, but it's looking more and more like that could actually be the reality we're living in. Let's go ahead and jump on into the craziest headline. This is our thumbnail story, that spot Bitcoin ETF net inflows have crossed a record 1 billion in a single day. Yes, you heard that right. 1 billion in a single day inflows into these spot ETFs. On March 12th, net spot Bitcoin ETF inflows hit over $1 billion, according to data from BitMEX Research. At the same time, BlackRock's iBit product, which earlier this week crossed 200,000 BTC in asset under management, saw a record 849 million inflow alone. So, accounting for the vast majority of this 1 billion inflow in one day is iBit. And that's not a surprise. BlackRock has been leading the pack for a while now. You can see here on my chart, you can see here that according to Yahoo Finance, BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF iBit volumes have just absolutely skyrocketed. In January, we thought that we were getting good inflows, right? The market was shocked. It was like, man, this is really high. Now you fast forward to March, and faces have been thoroughly melted. In crypto, the expectations were high, right? And they have been exceeded. But on Wall Street, expectations, they maybe weren't so high for a lot of bears. A lot of people who look at digital currencies and they say, well, where's the real value? Where's that tangible value, right? And then they underestimate. They underestimate, which is one of the most dangerous things you can do in risk markets. The article goes on, in Bitcoin terms, yesterday witnessed a record, yesterday the 12th, so not literally yesterday, but the 12th. Now let me back up. The reason why this is being reported today is because the information about the inflows doesn't come out until, I believe, 6 p.m. the following day. So this is news from 6 p.m. yesterday, so that's why it's referring to it that way. This is still very fresh news. In Bitcoin terms, yesterday witnessed a record 14,706 Bitcoin inflows into those Ethereum, into those ETFs. Nothing to do with Ethereum. Meanwhile, total net Bitcoin ETF inflows since January 11th reached 11.1 billion. So let that sink in. It's 1/11th. 1/11th of the inflows happened on the 12th. It is starting to reach a parabolic level of acceleration here. It's absolutely insane. It's really, to be honest with you, it's kind of hard to get my head around this. It's like I feel like I'm barely able to keep pace with understanding how these numbers really are working. But it's just, I mean, it's bullish. It's like what we talked about with Caleb Franzen yesterday. It's like, just let the market do the work for you. I mean, all throughout the bear market, we've been making these arguments. Oh, there'll be a supply shock. There's only 21 million coins. Oh, the ETFs could get passed. The halving's coming up this year. We have all these bullish narratives going on in our head, and it's like now it still does feel surprising to just see how bullish the market is. And I'm going to get to a couple of stories that are predicting that it's going to be even more bullish. So we're gonna get to those in just a second, but let's keep on here. As of yesterday, Bitcoin spot ETFs now hold upward of 90% of the daily trading volume market share for ETFs. So not in general, but for ETFs offering Bitcoin exposure and an all-time high. Bitcoin futures ETFs, meanwhile, now claim just 10% of the market share. Yes, for those of you tuning in, maybe you didn't even know that there were already ETFs for Bitcoin. There were, but they were futures ETFs, and they're very different from spot ETFs. In function and outcome to the underlying investor, it doesn't really have a huge felt difference, but over time and in principle, it has a very big difference, and especially to the custodian. Well, first of all, for futures ETFs, there are no custodian, but for BlackRock and Fidelity for the issuers, it's a much different process than obviously getting them approved was a different process as well. Spot versus futures Bitcoin ETF market share, you can see here, the futures ETF is waning in influence, just 10% now as of the 12th. So this is again, is this bullish or bearish? This is not really either bullish or bearish. This is just kind of an idea of what the split of the market is. Again, this really doesn't have an impact on very much, other than the spot market is more dominant than the futures market right now. Whether that will pan out in the future to be different, we don't know. But right now, that's kind of what that information is entailing. We got Army Piper here in the chat. What is up? Good morning, Army Piper. He is a longtime bro, and his show goes on just after this one, just at 9:30. So make sure you guys tune into the Piper Academy. Comes on right after this show. To see more than 1 billion of net inflows, a new record, more than a month since launch, is nothing short of impressive for any ETF, noted the block's VP of Research, George Calle. The U.S. spot Bitcoin ETFs have been wildly successful, well beyond even the most optimistic expectations, says GSR's research analyst Brian Rudick. He told the block that yesterday, which, by the way, this article is from theblock.co. So their 10 billion plus of inflows is just 2 months. In just 2 months, is approaching what most thought would be done in the first year. That is the most bullish thing I'm going to say on today's episode. This is insane. In just 2 months, is approaching what most thought would do in the first year. You're not bullish enough, guys. You're not bullish enough. And there are arguments for why inflows may increase from here. Strap in. Like greater issuer sales efforts, okay? BlackRock, Fidelity, getting their boys out there, increasing incentives, increasing commissions. Their addition to wealth manager product offerings, okay? And normalizing the GBTC outflows. So just generally sellers kind of exit their trading terminals. So overall, guys, here, obviously, the conclusion is bullish. But how bullish? Probably more bullish than you already are. And then double it. And then double that. Just kidding. Don't get too crazy. Still make just smart decisions. But again, as we talked about with Caleb and Tim and I yesterday, this is really, you kind of put it in cruise control, right? You put it in cruise control. You stay tuned, right, to your favorite YouTube influencers or social media influencers that are talking about crypto and talking about Bitcoin and covering it day in and day out. But ultimately, right, when it comes to actually trading and investing, this is easy mode. And you can get in there and you can trade. You can scalp trade. You can look at the levels and you can still be profitable scalp trading. hopefully to the upside, right? If you are trying to scalp trade to the downside, you're trying to short Bitcoin these days, you have to be very, very high level skill, very confident in your skill. It's not easy to do that, and I'm not doing it at all. It's not that I think I'm incapable. It's just, it's easy mode. I want to enjoy easy mode for what it is. I'm building in the background, right? You build in the bear market. You can also build in the bull market, because the bull market is, in some sense, a little easier. So let's go ahead and jump into the next story here. But before I do, we've got a super chat, and that is from Overcome 70 times 7. He says, he's donating $5. Thank you so much. He said, what kind of top signals are you looking for? Coinbase being number one downloaded app seems like a clever one. Yes. So that's going to be the biggest one. I've really only seen memes about topping signals at this point. It's not really anywhere near the top. That's just not where we are. We haven't even gotten to the halving yet. We've broken all-time highs before the halving. That's just bullish. What kind of topping signals am I looking for? I mean, honestly, the Coinbase one is very significant. And it's people who, another big one for me is when it's people who have no idea about not just investing in crypto and Bitcoin, but have no idea about, they've never even invested in stocks, right? These are the type of people who just leave all of their savings in cash. When those type of people are telling me to buy Bitcoin in a taxi, right? In some podcast, right? Or something like this. People who just don't know anything about anything, they start to make recommendations. That's topping. Because, I mean, just think about it. That means that it's close to 90% of the market that was going to buy Bitcoin is in, right? It's definitely not the people who have gone through the bear market and have been patient. It's fly-by-nights coming in and getting a 20, 30, 80% movement in their initial investment, and then they go shout it from the rooftops when they didn't know what Bitcoin was 3 months ago, right? That's a good topping signal as well. Could that be your aunt and uncle, right? Could that be your grandma, grandpa? Maybe, right? But generally, it's just people who, it's not that they have no business knowing about Bitcoin. Everybody does. But you can kind of read between the lines there with what I'm saying. Another topping signal, I mean, it's hard to say because this cycle could be different, right? And that's something that's said every time. Every cycle is the same in that every time someone thinks that the cycle is different. But ultimately, yeah, I think there's some pretty good topping signals out there. When utility altcoins start to reach certain levels in the Fibonacci as well relative to their previous highs, that's a pretty decent indication of the topping. So, different things like that. But one that's very, very definitive is Coinbase reaching, the top 10 or even the top 2 or 3 of the Apple Store apps. So that's where I'll leave it. That's a great question that overcomes 70 times 7. Where is the top, right? We're not there yet, right? And if we are, it's because of forces that have not been in the market before in previous cycles. And my guess is that we are not only not near the top, right? We probably got till late summer of 2025 before we're going to start asking that question seriously. And then my conclusion is, well, what do you do then? I don't know that I'm going to even be selling Bitcoin. Probably my conviction right now is that I'm not going to be selling 100% of my Bitcoin. Maybe something like 5 or 10% of my Bitcoin, but I mean, I have a lot of stocks in Bitcoin mining stocks. I have a lot of altcoins, right? Those are the kinds of assets that I want to take profit in because they're much less certain. But the thing is like, unless you're going to rotate into real estate, I don't see a better investment than Bitcoin. Real estate, if you don't have a home, makes a ton of sense still. Real estate, if you have managed real estate before and like had managed tenants and things like that, that to me does still make sense. But I'm going to probably just stick with Bitcoin, even through the bear market, for a variety of reasons. Of course, that bear market probably not coming until mid-2026. Maybe a little sooner. We'll see. Peyton Steele said, hey, T-Shroom, do you know if the price action of Bitcoin correlates with the price action of the ETFs? It does. It does. Absolutely. Yeah. I wouldn't say it's 1-to-1, but it's supposed to be. If it's not 1-to-1, it's going to be very close. But percentage by percentage is very, very close. Let me know in the chat. Have you guys experienced anything different from that? ETFs are designed to mimic the spot price movement of the underlying asset in which they are an exchange traded fund for. So let's keep moving. So right now, the big narrative is that the ETFs are breaking records. They're doing really, really well, and it doesn't seem like they're showing any signs of stopping, only increasing in their voracious bullish nature. So let's go to our next bullish friend over here, MicroStrategy. They say, here, hold my beer. ETFs are setting records, hold my beer. MicroStrategy seeks $500 million to snatch up even more Bitcoin. Now you're just going to say, but T-Shroom, you already covered this. This was from earlier in the week. It's not. They're doing another funding round, guys. This is insane. In a Wednesday announcement, the company said it plans to offer $500 million worth of convertible senior notes to institutional buyers due in 2031 in order for the firm to buy additional cryptocurrency. The company last week said it would offer a private sale of $600 million worth of convertible senior notes in order to purchase more Bitcoin. Purchase more Bitcoin. There's a concept. It might be one that you've been mulling over for a while, and maybe it's time to act on that thought. MicroStrategy is the single largest corporate holder of Bitcoin with 205,000 of the digital coins in its treasury, more than 15 billion at today's prices. Caleb Franson, when he was on yesterday, also dropped some alpha on us, letting us know that MicroStrategy is actually in the top 3 held in the Russell stock index, which is actually really, really cool. There is some speculation that maybe in 2025, 2024, or 2025 that the MicroStrategies could get added to the S&P 500. So that would be really interesting because then a lot more people would have exposure to Bitcoin through a couple of layers. So is that the end of the bullish stories? What do you guys think? Do you think I have more bullish stories for Bitcoin? Guys, we're going to be covering a couple more coins. Ethereum has had a pretty big development. We have another movement in that TIK TOK story. Dogecoin, I've got something for here. And that one's actually pretty entertaining. And then there's a crazy new meme coin, which is funny. It's definitely not going to be financial advice, but it is funny. We're going to do it for the meme. You guessed it, guys. I've got another very bullish story for you here. Ki Jong-ju, he said, bears don't win this game until spot Bitcoin ETF inflows stop. And have they shown any signs of stopping? They have not. They've even brought some corn for popping. Okay, last week, spot ETFs saw net flows of 30,000 Bitcoin. Known entities like exchanges and miners hold around 3 million Bitcoin, including 1.5 Bitcoin by U.S. entities, U.S. companies, or private funds. At this rate, we'll see a sell-side liquidity crisis within 6 months. Now, crisis is a scary word. What key kind of means here is that price could go up in a way that we haven't seen before. That's a liquidity crisis. Now, not necessarily. It could also mean high volatility. It could also mean something breaks, not Bitcoin itself, but there could be some exchanges that have to say, look, we don't have any more Bitcoin to sell you. And people don't want to let go of their Bitcoin for prices under 30% gain on the day, right? So we could see that potentially. That's another way to interpret that term, crisis. But ultimately, it's getting to the point where within 6 months, really smart analysts are saying that we could have a liquidity crisis, right? There could be way more buyers than sellers in the market. And that is a market crisis. It's not a bad market crisis if you're holding the asset, which many of you listening to the sound of my voice will fall under that category. So liquidity crisis, liquidity crunch, these are terms that we're familiar with, and they're very bullish terms. Key goes on to kind of illustrate this a bit further. He says, Bitcoin is currently in the price discovery phase. Once a sell-side liquidity crisis happens, its next cyclical top may exceed our expectations due to limited sell-side liquidity and thin order books. This could occur once accumulation addresses reach around a total of 3 million Bitcoin. So there you go. It is it's fast approaching, folks. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat. Do you think that this could happen even sooner than 6 months from now. All right, guys, I got to play this clip right now. I got to play it. I was going to play it closer to the end of the show, but I don't want to risk accidentally not playing it. And also, I am just so excited for you to see this one. So, especially for my Doge holders, strap in. This one is a lot of fun. Take a look. Indeed, take a listen.
When can you buy a Tesla with Dogecoin? Well, at some point, I think we should enable that. You can buy Tesla merch with Doge, which is cool. So Dogecoin to the moon. In fact, a lot of people maybe don't know the reason that I actually ended up sort of, somewhat endorsing Dogecoin was when I was walking around the factory at Tesla. Some people who were just, they were working the line, like not rich people or anything, and they said, "Can you please support Doge?" And then also, I was at SpaceX and also just, walking the factory, and some regular guys just said, "Hey, can you support Doge?" And I was like, you know what? Doge is the people's crypto, so I will support it. Because lots of rich people were supporting Bitcoin, but I was like, but the people on the line want me to support Doge, I will support Doge. So, Doge is for you.
All right. Drop a Doge in chat if you are a Doge holder. I absolutely am. Do I have more than 5% of my net worth in Doge? No. In fact, I think it's probably less than 1%, right? But it's fun. And there's a chance that Dogecoin could play a significant role in the future of finance. I don't know in what alien world it would, but this world is getting crazier and crazier every single day. And with leaders who get it, like Elon Musk, continuing to be behind the reins of culture and technology, I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't a little yapping dog on my bills as I was handing them over to some cashier in exchange for chips and soda, right? So many things wrong with that example, but we'll move on. Taking a look here, guys. So yesterday, this was bullish for Doge. And in fact, before we go to the next story here, let's go ahead and take a look at the crypto bubbles. Today, the memes are making a comeback. Whiff Hat, Dog Whiff Hat up 41%, Bonk up 19%, and Pepe up 13%. And your boy, Doge, up here 10%, getting a bid right alongside Solana. So doing really well. Also Jupe. Jupe doing really well last couple of days. This is a newer coin. If you click and take a look here at the chart, you can see that it's gone up and to the right along with the rest of the market. But it's also a much newer coin. So it's speculative, right? Pith is also kind of in this category where it's a Solana utility coin. It's very, it's useful. It's not a meme. And so it's something to look into. Jupe and Pith, those are coins that I think could have a lot more upside if we continue to see the bullishness that we've been seeing here in the crypto markets. And I don't have any reason to think that we won't. So let's go on to the next story here. We won't spend too much time on this one, but yesterday the U.S. Congress went ahead and passed a bill to ban TikTok, and that would happen in 6 months if the Chinese did not divest from the app. Former Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin is putting together an investor group to buy TikTok. This comes just one day after the U.S. House passed a bill that may cause a forced sale. Mnuchin also behind last week's $1 billion investment in New York Community Bank. So this man here, who's the former Treasury Secretary of the Trump administration, he's been busy. He's had a busy March, and it could be even busier if he does indeed start to build momentum in that fund that's looking to acquire TikTok. Now, in the context of Elon buying Twitter and the success that's gone on there for free speech and I guess somewhat measured financial success for Elon. When you think about it here, it's like buying TikTok, which first of all, I think is a much more expensive asset. It's a much higher ticket. I actually don't know offhand how much it would be worth. It's like someone so close to the government, someone who was literally the Treasury Secretary last administration. It's kind of a little weird, right? We kind of would like to see, ultimately you'd like to see a bunch of really really big celebrities from TikTok, who've come from nothing and become very popular on TikTok, them buy it, put all their money together and buy it. But, that's kind of dreaming. I get it. I don't know. Let me know. What do you think in the comments? Let me know. What do you think in the chat? What is going on here? Do you think that it really should be Steve Mnuchin who's kind of leading the charge on funding the purchase of TikTok? I don't know. And then, that still doesn't answer the question of if the Chinese are going to let it go or if they're going to actually divest. So we'll see. That one's developing. Okay, guys, I feel kind of bad about this one, but it's actually kind of funny. This is the Capo meme coin. I don't know if this is real. I do not recommend buying this. In fact, just don't. Just don't. But this is a funny meme. Trend meme coin 2024. Dog, no. Cat, no. Frog, no. This is kind of me. Some kind of animal, no. Please return meme coin. It's true. Definition of a joke. And this is Capo was right. CWR. Again, I'm not buying this. I think this is probably complete trash. Who knows? Maybe there's something good behind this, but I don't think so, and don't buy it. But it is a funny joke. Of course, for those of you who don't know, Capo, he's been a perma bear even through the bull market, and he's kind of stuck to it. I don't know if it's kind of ironic at this point for him, if it's a joke, but now it is. Now it's a joke, whether he wanted it to be or not. All right, guys. Well, we're actually coming in a little bit ahead of schedule here. Let's jump into the chat and see what's going on here. Eric Wallen said, dogs getting cold too. Sometimes they need haze. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hats. Okay. I was going to say, what the heck does that even mean? Dog whiff hat. Let's see. Brian D said, I bought Doge 4 weeks ago and sold already for a 2.5 profit. Very nice. 2.5x. I do like it for a quick buck. Absolutely. Yeah. Now, I may have the wrong approach to meme coins, but I like to just pick the ones I like and then just hold them at a small percentage, right? And if they pop off, they pop off. I'm not expecting to be a millionaire with meme coins. But then, Caleb was on yesterday. Man, I keep referring to Caleb. Caleb was on yesterday, and he said he's been trading meme coins. So I might have to fire up the old Blofin account and go over there and start trading with meme coins. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if that's what I want to spend my time doing, but it is definitely alluring. Let's see what else we got. Eric said, "Whiff is a utility coin. It's a dog hat." Yeah, and now it makes more sense. The hats can keep you warm. I like it. That is so funny. Oh, Puddles chiming in here, saying Doge. Yes, so it could be very, very explosive for Doge. Right now, the coin is only getting a 10% bid higher after this tweet from Elon Musk, after the soundbite from Elon Musk. That could change by the end of the day. You could expect a big move for Doge today when people actually start waking up, but most people in the United States are probably still, they're tuning into shows like this because they want to get the update about the markets without having to do any work. But a lot of people, especially on the West Coast, are not even awake yet. Matt C. comes to mind. Yeah, so it's fun. Puddles is someone who said that they were either in India or grew up in India or something. So Puddles, welcome. It's good to see you. Thug Nasty said, Matic and Solana ran yesterday, and today ADA and Chain lifted up for some gains. Absolutely. So we started the show talking about Chainlink. That's one to definitely keep an eye on. We don't know exactly how that's going to pan out today. Let's go ahead and check on it before we close out the show here. Chainlink really has only really retraced this nice bullish candle here on the 4-hour, probably coming back down to test the midline, and then maybe make a move higher. We shall see. ADA kind of in a similar pattern formation today, testing some former highs, putting in some good highs here on this last bullish run, wicking up to 81 cents, it looks like, for Cardano. Man, it's really moving. Cardano's been really moving. It's nice to see. Let's see. Now, Comp has been one that we've been watching. I've got some fibs up on it, it looks like. Comp's kind of been a stable coin, even had a pretty big wick down out of that accumulation here. About 21% move down. You could have gotten that. I don't think I was watching that. But if you zoom out, Comp has actually broken out of a pretty good kind of pennant formation here. Had a big move to the upside and has since found a nice little zone to accumulate in here. So for comp, this is one that I've been bullish on. It's like I like it a lot because it's the smallest cap crypto on Robinhood. So it's pretty good. Injective continuing to get a bid, and the meme coins doing really, really well this morning, with Miro actually leading here according to my watch list bros. If you are looking for a great crypto community, you found it. If you're watching for the first time, I am T-Shroom, and I'm really, really glad that you've joined us. Consider subscribing if you got some value out of this video, and make sure that you smash the like button on the way out. And if you're trading today, keep your stop losses tight, and no matter what, if you're a human watching this, make sure you stay hydrated. Adios, bros.